Okay, so today is the 12th. We're supposed to cover growth and decay, our last new lesson of the semester. While the calendar is up here, I'll just remind us that Project 9 is due on Monday. If you've already got it done, and some folks have it done, throw it in the folder now. Project 10 is due Wednesday. That's the day of our exam. 8 until 10 is our official window. But again, if you got that done early, that'll free you up to focus on your other studies and projects and things. And quiz number 6 I have handed out, but it is not officially due at any point. I'm not grading it for any to calculate inside of your final grade. But if you want my feedback, get it to me when you can, and then I'll grade it right there in front of you, just so that you know what you're doing. Any questions on the calendar? Okay, so class 39 is here. It's about growth and decay. It's a whole bunch of word problems. I have decided that we're not doing this. So I'm just going to scratch this from our curriculum, and you don't have to worry about this section from the test. And today we're just going to talk about the final exam briefly, and then you'll study practice problems and stuff like that. All right. We originally had more than just the Monday review day, but snow days took some of our review days away, so I'm taking one back. So today will be a review day for us. So we're going to skip all of this. There's good stuff in there, but it's just enough. Okay, so let's jump to page 86. And I will say that if you are looking at this quiz, that there is a question quite similar to 1A on the final exam. So 1A on the quiz. Oh, Lustone perked up at that. Yeah, he wasn't paying attention until that moment. So question 1A, there's something very similar to this one on the final exam. So make sure you can set that thing up, okay? And if you don't know how, ask me during class today while you're practicing. 1A on the quiz, there's something like that on the final exam. Okay. All right, so just some brief stuff about the final exam. We're skipping the video business here, but you can check them out later if you're interested. Okay, areas of emphasis for the final. Antiderivatives, first and second fundamental theorem of calculus, the integral of a rate of change is total change, derivative of the area accumulation function. Those are our two fundamental theorems. Evaluating integrals, we had a bunch of techniques: substitution, parts, partial fractions, trig sub, and recognizing which approaches are appropriate for a given integral. We talked about improper integrals, whether they converge or diverge. Make sure you're comfortable with our limit notation. Because remember, improper integral means, like there's an infinity on the integral sign. And we change that infinity to a b and take a limit as b goes to infinity. Very recently, we have solved some differential equations using separation of variables. Need to be able to check whether or not something is a solution. This applications stuff essentially is what I skipped over today. Slope fields and Euler's method we talked about last class. We had a whole big section on applications of integration, the concept of slicing applied to geometry. We had a physics example of work and density and mass. Then we did economics, present, future value, and then a class on probability. That probability class, I think, was one of the ones that got snowed out, but I asked you folks to watch a video of mine from last year. And then sequences and series. You should know the difference between the two of them. One of them is a list of numbers. The other one is a list of numbers added up. And then the convergence test. My goodness, like buried inside of these two words was like 3 weeks of really hard calculus that we did together. But you need to know how to use the convergence tests. And then we also talked about power series using the ratio test to find the interval of convergence. We did it a bunch on one of our projects. Taylor series with the taking all the derivatives and dividing by the right factorials, just that whole building them from scratch idea. All right, so resources that you can use for the final exam. All right, it says 5 handouts. That is far more generous than I am this semester. So we're going to cross off almost all of this and boil it down to the one handout that you used on test number 3. You will still be able to use that. Convergence tests is the big table on the one side, and then the essentially flow chart on the other side that says, you know, does it look like a p-series? Does it look like a geometric series? That is the only resource that I created, actually that my predecessor created, that you can use. But you can also use 4 reference sheets of your own creation. I hope you have kept the reference sheets you've made for the first 3 tests. You can use those plus 1 more. Don't forget to add the stuff on differential equations that we covered since the 3rd test. And you can use a non-graphing calculator. I will loan you one if you don't have one. All right, so we talked about this test. It's coming up on Wednesday. Our official window is 8 to 10. Our unofficial window is 8 to 11. 8 until 11. So it's not written to be a 3-hour test, but if you want more time, show up at 8 and you can stay all the way until 11. If you finish the test at 9:15, you leave at 9:15. No harm in getting there too early, right? Okay, so there are some resources on the next page. This is our study guide for the whole semester. It's a very brief list, 23 things, you know, but some of these things, like I said, cover like a week of hard stuff. As you are preparing for the test here today and in the next few days, I suggest that you go over the old tests and quizzes. I also suggest that you go over maybe your old homework. That's a very big task, but there were also chapter review problems. This is just the chapter review stuff on the differential equations material, but there were also pages like this for each of the 3 tests, which had chapter review problems that you should check out. And then also the big practice problems packet that we've been talking about. Okay, again, there's lies inside of here about the stuff that you can use, so crossing off everything except for the convergence handout. Any general questions at this point? Okay, so you've got, I don't know, 53 minutes left in this class. Use them however you see fit. I really hope that we stay and don't go until, you know, our class ends. I think this is a good opportunity to figure out what you are weak on and get help from me, get help from your classmates. And then Monday is just going to be an hour and 10 more minutes of exactly what's coming up right here. All right. But please come on Monday and stay today and Monday until our class ends. Take advantage of the time that we have together. Instead of working on problems that look easy to you, like if you're going through the practice problems packet in some particular order, find the problems that are hard for you. Find the problems that you don't want to do. Those are the ones that you should do while you have all the extra resources around you right here in this classroom. Okay? All right. Raise a flag if I can help.